Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Seth Sharma Patel, and I hope all of you guys are having a blessed day so far. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about reasons why Jesus didn't baptize, and I'm going to be giving you guys 5 reasons why Jesus Christ did not baptize. Let's hop straight into it. So we have number 1. The reason why Jesus didn't baptize is because he wanted to avoid creating a cult of personality. Jesus didn't want his followers to be more focused on who baptized them rather than the message of salvation itself. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to, tie this in here. So we have 1 Corinthians 1:17, right? And this is, Paul's letter to the Corinthian church, right? So let's basically start off with what this verse says, right? Because this is all going to tie into what I'm going to be talking about. But we have 1 Corinthians 1:17. And in this verse, Paul says, "For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ shall be made known of none effect." Here's like the context here. So Paul wrote this. So here's the context here, right? So this is in Paul's letter here. So here's the context. So Paul wrote this to address the divisions in the Corinthian church, where there were people who were boasting about being baptized by Paul or Peter. Paul emphasizes his, main message, right? His core message about the gospel, right? The cross, right? That is way more important and far superior than the administrator of baptism, preventing believers from glorifying in men rather than Christ. Highlighting the power of the cross and the salvation message rather than the human agent over baptism. Paul in this verse here is ensuring focus on Christ's work, right? He's ensuring focus remains on Christ's work, not on who baptized you. So Paul's making that clear that the message of the gospel is far superior than on who baptized you. John 4:2, right? Here's some more supporting ideas here. So we have John 4:2, right? And this verse notes that the disciples baptized not Jesus himself, and that baptism was a task for the followers of Jesus Christ, which was distinct from Jesus' primary mission. Jesus Christ, he didn't baptize himself, right? He didn't want his disciples to focus on who baptized them rather than the message of salvation itself. So Jesus wanted his disciples to focus on the message of salvation, right? And the power of the cross. He didn't want his disciples to focus on who baptized them. And it's kind of similar too with the situation with Paul. There were people in the Corinthians church, the Corinthian church, who were there was divisions in the Corinthian church, right? There were people in the Corinthian church who were boasting about being baptized by Paul or Peter, and Paul emphasizes that his core message was about the gospel, right? It was about the power of the cross, right? Number 2, the reason why Jesus Christ did not baptize is because he wanted to highlight his greater purpose. John the Baptist said himself that Jesus would be the one who would baptize with the Holy Spirit and fire. And this baptism is far superior, right? Jesus' baptism, right? Jesus, he would baptize with the Holy Spirit, right? This baptism that John the Baptist is talking about that Jesus would do, right, which would baptize with the Holy Spirit. This baptism is far superior than water baptism, right? By Jesus not baptizing, Jesus underscored that his primary purpose was different from John's. Number 3, the reason why Jesus didn't baptize is to empower his disciples. Jesus allowed his disciples to perform baptism, right? We can see this example in the book of John 4. But Jesus, he allowed his disciples to perform baptism, which prepared his disciples, right, for the Great Commission, where they would be tasked with baptizing all the nations in his name, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? So by Jesus allowing his disciples to perform baptism, it prepared them for the Great Commission, where they would be tasked with baptizing all the nations in his name, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. another reason why Jesus didn't baptize, right, is to another reason why Jesus didn't baptize, it was to prevent rivalry. Jesus did not baptize anyone, right? And if he did, this could have led to people boasting by being baptized by him, creating a sense of superiority over others. So if Jesus did baptize, there would probably be people to this day who would be boastful about it, right? Who would be thinking that they are superior over other people because they've been baptized by Jesus, right? And that would kind of just cause a that would just kind of that would just kind of cause a separation between people as well, and that would just kind of cause a separation between people because there would most likely be people who would be boasting, right, because they've been baptized by Jesus, and those people would probably think that they're superior and better and more holier than those people who weren't baptized by Jesus, right? So if Jesus did baptize, right, if Jesus did baptize, there would most likely be people who would be boasting about it and thinking that they are more superior than other people. The reason why Jesus didn't baptize is to represent his followers. The biblical accounts mention Jesus and his disciples baptized in a way suggesting that the disciples were the ones performing the ritual, even though Jesus Christ's teachings were the catalyst for those baptisms. And by the way as well too, guys, I also made a video covering what is baptism. I basically explained what baptism is and what it means. I explained that all in this video. Also, I also got baptized in that same video as well too, and went with my home church to the beach. That video as well too, right? So that video, it's already posted on my YouTube channel. That video was like made a couple months ago, and I recommend you guys to check it out as well too. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something new. God bless.